Good day, ladies and gents. Today we're going to talk about make.com and why it is such a good place to start learning from. So when we look at the world of automations, there are literally thousands of different places you can go to find this information out. And there are literally thousands of companies now that are working in this space. So the companies like Zapier, make.com, n8n, Integrally, uh, Relay, Pabbly Connect, those are all like the household names that people use. When I started looking into automations and I really did look at make.com as really one of the only things that I wanted to use. But since the other ones are there, I thought about messing with them for a while and looking at them and seeing what they can do. And then I looked a little bit further and I found out there are so many more. There are the professional ones. There's a couple down below there. I haven't used those, nor have I even tried to think of them. Those seem like very high level, high end things that I'm not sure I'd be able to use just yet in my journey. We have a couple other ones that I have used. And I use these because I use them in my full-time day job. I've used Power Automate, Salesforce, Copilot, Developer. I've used these because you kind of have to use them now to get some things done in a place where, there's a lot of people being laid off and placed into career depravity. You got to learn how to use Power Automate in Salesforce. You got to learn how to use those tools because it kind of frees up the space, time for the automated stuff you're doing. And then there are other platforms that are very specific. They're like kind of like a niche thing. I haven't used them so much, but I just wanted to bring these up to say, look, there are so many choices. There's so many reasons why people use these things. And I just wanted to cover this, the reason why I enjoy make.com. But I've looked at n8n, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I feel when you work with make.com, it's more of a visual kind of place. And I like pretty things. I like messing with the pretty visuals. I don't want to use, if I don't have to, the terminal when I do any kind of coding. I've not been a fan of the terminal stuff yet, but if you're going to go anywhere in this kind of career, you're going to have to use it. But I don't want to use it if I don't have to. It's not a sign of badge of honor. It's not a sign of courage that you're using the terminal, that you're using tools like that. If I don't have to do it, I won't. So yeah, I kind of moved towards the make.com stuff just because it's easier to use for me, but there's probably a little bit more learning that you have to do to it because it pushes a lot of things in there that you need to use that aren't necessarily in other spots. Just the iterations and the timers and that kind of stuff. Yeah, like it says at the bottom there, it's a steeper learning curve. Counts, operations, complex loops. These are all things that I've done in development work, so I wasn't really afraid of that. I just kind of took it for what it was and then moved on. This also kind of gets to the crux of it. Using real words there, crux. This gets to the crux of it. It's tough to be objective when you look at a lot of things out there and people are using things and you see somebody use them. It's hard for you to be like, yeah, that's the one I want to use, or no, that doesn't do what I want. It's broken. It's not good enough for me. Well, maybe the reason why it doesn't do what you want is because you're not using it in the way it was intended. So maybe it does do what you want, but it doesn't make the piece of equipment or tool not usable. It just means you're not using it in a way that was optimum for it. So I took that in my journey of learning and I was like, I want to use this. So I took all that information, I kind of mashed it up to what I have here, and then made sort of a decision on what I was going to do. A little bit more information here. Based on what I'm seeing, uh, and I've measured these two things together because I was going to try Zapier at first, just wasn't my kind of thing. Uh, if you're looking at cost, it is less expensive, but like it did say, it's more difficult to use in this space because it pushes a lot of things together that aren't naturally in the automation space in one area. So with the Zapier folks, they make sure it's separated. Um, Generally speaking, it frees more time. Uh, and I don't want to talk ill amongst the Zaps, if that's what their name is. It seems like it's a little bit, it takes a little less overhead or like management of those tools that they have there. So it says here it fixes like 12 hours a month. It reduces that manual time under 12 hours a month, which is kind of what everybody's looking for in automation. You want to reduce the time you use it. So that is there. I have a bunch of facts here. Um, Try to get them as layperson as possible so that you can kind of understand them. When we talk about my two favorite places to use Make, Airtable and Google Sheets, or Google Workspace. I prefer Airtable more. I just like the the relational database it has. But when you look at the facts here, when you match these two tools together, and when I did make the decision about Make, I chose it with Airtable because I like the way they work together. When you look at them, it makes some claims. It makes some bold claims that there's a zero mismatch policy based on the relational depth. It doesn't hallucinate. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that is kind of what they're ensuring you when you put these two together with data. I don't know how you could test that, but definitely that's something I want to look at and make sure that it doesn't hallucinate on me, because there are other tools that do. That might be because of some context engineering, but still there are tools that do. Um, it does become like your safety net. It becomes sort of like your insurance, where you keep your database and you keep it safe and secure. You can bring your webhooks to there. You can input information into those tables that you create based on the APIs that you pull. It really is a pretty huge benefit to put these two together. And for me, it just becomes like a kind of an assistant with a bigger brain at times than I have, and it helps me out when I need to cycle through information fairly quickly. So when you look at this, I mean, when you look at the automations, if you're trying to kind of build something or connect or make something that you can actually use, that's really what we're trying to do here. Is we're trying to create a space where you can see how these things work. You can use them. You can implement them yourself. You can have me help you implement them. You can have me just do it for you. But that's really what we're trying to do, is trying to build like a place where you can, use your brain and create some things that you may not necessarily have been able to do before. And then I wanted to go into the make.com and just look at a few of these. They have a bunch of templates in here just to say like what could happen, not necessarily what I am doing. We do have scenarios that I'm working on right now. This is my favorite one. It is the unpaid invoice, and then the reminder to your clients of, you need this to be paid over a certain period of time, and it's kind of like a soft reminder. But when you look at these templates, one of my favorite things to do with these templates is just open them up and play around with them and see how they're made, because it gives you like an insight into what is possible. So I'll just do a random one. Just go Google form responds to entries in Google Sheets. So that's just going to be a sheet one. Let's do a SWOT analysis. So in Google Sheets, it will, what will this do? It's going to run this every 15 minutes. It's going to parse some information in your Google Sheets based on the rows. It's going to generate something. And then it's going to parse some information out. Strengths, weaknesses. Opportunities. Threats. It's going to search for that pattern. And then it's going to place that information back into a Google slide for a presentation. Oh, I don't want to add that. Delete that module. And then it'll place in your account, probably in a shared space. But that's how to do like just a really quick SWOT analysis using Google, not using Google, using ChatGPT. I use Google. I don't use ChatGPT, but I'm projecting it. So it's just like one of the scenarios they have. Discard this change. I don't need to make any changes. You can also like type in, see some that we have some accounting posts in here. Using QuickBooks. But it was QuickBooks tax season. All right, let's see what we got for QuickBooks. Add refunds from Stripe to QuickBooks. That's what we can do here. Those people at specific times of year you don't want to add refunds. Watches for refunds, retrieves the customer information, searches for customer, creates a refund receipt. That is a very quick way to do it. And you can run this, whenever you actually want to. They run it immediately. So if there's something in there, they want it done, and they want the receipt sent to wherever they decide to send it. We'll do one more. That's good for Christmas time. Let's see what else we can do. Let's do another tax group. See what they got in here. Follow up on overdue invoices. Hey, I could use this one. Ho, ho, ho. I like that. Let's see what we got here. So they got week or less. Get the invoice from the URL. Download the invoice. Get the contact information. This will route it to either send an email based on what? What are we sending it based on? Okay, so 23 days. 23 hours. No earlier than 24 hours, no later than minus 7 seconds. So they're trying to say a week. Overdue by a week. And that is was it the bottom one? Let's see what the top one is. Overdue by a day. Yeah, and then you want to make sure that it's not being paid before you do it again. So depending on how you're doing it, however these emails go out. You want to make sure you don't send one before they pay it. So you'd have to put like maybe a router in there or some kind of search. But I think if you just do it, what has it got here? 15-minute intervals. Every 15 minutes, if you check your list and make sure it's not been paid, and then you can go in and do that. So there's like one more thing you could add in here. But yeah, this is what I'm trying to do, is just trying to make these cool things so that we can use them. Be efficient and fast and greasy lightning. That's what I'm trying to do. All right, folks, any questions? You just hop into the chat spot in the school, ask anything. And there's a spot in there where you can ask questions like diagnostically, like just, hey, I'm trying this, I want to do this. What do you think I should do? There's always a spot in there to do that. I'm going to focus mostly on the Make and the Airtable and Google Sheets and Google Workspace. If you're using any other kind of automative tool, I'm going to use Make and Airtable and Google until I don't think I can solve a problem with it, and then I might have to find another solution. But for right now, I'm trying to see how far I can push these things, see what I can do with them, make them useful for everybody. Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Nice talking to you.